back one and all. We are still working on our WordPress site, and we are doing our WordPress child theming 2.0, where we are using the most recent version of WordPress, the most recent version of child theme techniques. And what you're looking at here is sample page. So this is sample page. It was created and just left when we had our WordPress installed. In a little bit later, we're going to deal with our nav bar. And if you'll notice on the sample page, we're going to go from a single column layout to a 2-column layout. We're going to take a look at some of these elements that were added to the page. Some we're going to leave and some we're going to remove. If it's a page, we don't really need to say when it was posted, so I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of comments on here. I don't think it's necessary on a page. And then we're going to take all of this, that's really the sidebar, and put it as a sidebar. So that's what we're going to do now. So the first thing we want to do is get the template for the page. So I want to show you the folder. I want to go to the parent theme folder, and you're going to see a series of files, one of which is page.php. Well, this is the template that creates a single page on a WordPress site. So we're going to copy that and we're going to paste it in to our child theme folder. So there it is, child theme folder. That's the new one that we're working on, and we will paste that right in here. Now we're going to edit this in Notepad++, so let's take a look at it. Let's just review what we have. First of all, they have a lot of extra line returns. I'm not a big fan of the line returns for no particular reason. But we'll look at it. Get header. This is in all theme files. It gets all of the header content from the doc type all the way down to inside of the body of the web page, including the nav bar. So it'll have the banner, the nav bar. All the real content goes below get header. And then we have some stuff here. This is all part of what's called the loop. We'll deal with that in a little bit later. You'll see some more PHP commands such as comments template, and it's exactly what you would think it is. In other words, it displays comments, that little widget that we're going to get rid of. And then we have get sidebar. That's where all the sidebar goes. That's why it came after everything else. And then we get the footer. We're going to leave the get the footer alone. We're going to leave the sidebar alone because we're going to put that into a sidebar, but we're going to add some HTML around it. So let's just take a look at just what we're seeing here. A couple things. This is an if statement. If have post. Now this if statement begins here, ends here. And inside, we're calling a function called have post. Now, this is originally designed for blog entries. So if we have multiple blog entries, we would get more. And if we had none, this would result in 0 or false. And so what we're going to really say is if we have posts, and that makes sense, as long as there are posts, we want to get the post. And this, what's called the post, is actually going to grab a lot of information that's going to allow us to manipulate and drop in information, including things like the ID, the title, when it was posted on. Some of this information the person working on the site can edit, and others are just automatically generated when they create their content. Let's take a look at each of these. The ID, that is the ID that identifies that page. So we'll take a look at it. And then we'll just we'll look at the code that's here. So we're going to scroll down a little bit here into our page. There's the wrapper. It's inside of the wrapper. And we're going to see this div article class post ID equals post 2. So that's the ID of that particular one, and that's what the ID does. It inserts it in there. We'll take a look. We can see the title of the page is sample page. Right here, the title. So now if I go in and I edit this page, I can change it. Sample page of wonder, and I click update. When I go back to view the page, it will update that, and there it is right there. And then we can see all that posted on information. That is right here. In fact, I don't really care for that on a page. So I'm just going to delete it altogether, save my changes. And let's go ahead and test that out. So here I am. I need to hit refresh on this so I can see the page. One moment, please. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong folder. So hold on a second. It'll be just a moment while I get that. Okay, so here we are. There it is. I found the right folder. I'm going to upload page.php. And so all I did was make one little change. I got rid of that little posted on. And I just uploaded it, so I'm going to hit refresh, and that posted on should go away. And see, it's gone. So you can kind of see, a lot of this you can read and figure out what's going on. The content is going to be the content. Now this whole link pages, before pages, next number, this will appear if there are multiple pages. This is more for a blog post. It's technically not really even needed. And so that's unnecessary. I don't like to have unnecessary stuff, but I'm afraid if I delete it, I'll lose something important. But this is the page. Let's just delete it and see if it still displays normally. So really, we're just trying to clean all this up. So we go ahead and upload it. And I better check, always use this action so it's quicker. We go back here, hit refresh. There shouldn't be any issues. Everything looks the same. Another thing I don't like is having edits. Oh wait, no, I take that back. I want to be able to edit, so I leave that alone. It's the comments I want to get rid of. Get rid of that. And I'm going to save my changes, and then I'm going to upload it. And you will see that the comment widget will now go away. So the leave a reply, logged in as, all that stuff is gone. We can edit. Everything we're seeing here down is the sidebar. So now we're getting to the meat of what we want to do. What we're going to do is we're going to use Bootstrap. We're going to use Bootstrap to create a 2-column layout. Before I do that, let me just clean this code up a little. There we go. I got rid of some of the extra line returns. What we want to take is take all of this element and put it in a left-hand column and all of the sidebar in a right-hand column. Now we've already attached Bootstrap, so we're going to make use of the grid system. And the grid system relies on an outer div with a class of row. Now if you want to add another class name to this, you are welcome to do so. For now, I'm not thinking of any, so I'm just going to leave it. This is to enable the Bootstrap Grid. This now sets up anything inside has 12 columns. So we're going to create those 12 columns using another set of divs. And this time we're going to give it 2 classes. We're going to give it one to describe what it's being used for and the other to set the column width. So the first class, we're going to call it content because it's a main content of the page. We could, if we want to specify, put page content, and then that way we're even further, reinforcing this idea. Now, that's the div, but I forgot to add my other class, and we're going to use a column. We're going to go off the medium column width, and we're going to put medium column. Now, you can do it as 8 or 7. I'm going to do it as 8 because I'm going to use what's called the rule of thirds. And 2/3 of 12 would be 8. So we're going to reserve most of the content to this column with a middle 8. In other words, 8 grids. Then with what we have left, since they must add up to 12, we're going to add a class here of both sidebar and call MD, this time 4. That's going to be 1/3 of the total number of grids, which is 4. So 4 plus 8 is 12. As long as these numbers here match, then they will both fit side by side and take up the entire row, however wide that row happens to be. So we save our changes. We're going to go ahead and upload those. And I don't know what I just did there. I think I accidentally moved a file. Yes, save. Good. Now it'll be back. I accidentally clicked it and dragged it, tossed it in. So now we're going to overwrite page, and now we should have our 2 columns. If we did it right, it should display just fine. There we go. So now we have our Bootstrap. We have 2-column grid. This could be used for a lot of other templates too. We could use it for the 404 page. That's where it's a page not found. So if we do 67, we click on here, error 404, page not found. Now you see here is the column we've got here. So if we wanted to do a 2-column entry, we can add this to 404. In fact, what I can do right here is just do a file, save as, and we'll just call it 404.php. And bam, we just use the exact same template for the 404 page. Let's load it up. Hit refresh. There it is. Load it up. We have it in there. Hit refresh. And now we have 404, page not found. Hold on, let's try it again. And it's not showing up. So let's make sure I saved it the right way. I called it 404. Let's go look at the parent theme. There's the 404. Let's just see what they did on here and see if I missed something. Oh, they just flat out put this content in there. All right, well, let's just do that. I'm going to copy this. I use just regular notepad to open that up. So it's worth it to look at the other files. And so instead of all of that, we get rid of it all and we just post that inside. Now we re-upload it. And now we hit refresh. Now we should have the two columns. There they are. Of course, you might want to stick something in this window here because it does look a little bit odd. But I'm just showing you how easy it is that you can take that and change other sites out of it. So in my next tutorial, we'll take a look at some of the other templates and we'll start seeing the different features of them and adding Bootstrap to each of those.